Welcome. Now we are going to see the first introductory video of my brand new remastered Urban Data Science and Analytics course. The purpose of this video is to give you an idea about how the course looks like and what it covers. So if you like it, you can find the link to the full course in the description. So let's see it. Welcome to my Intro to Urban Data Science course, where we are going to learn about one of the most popular urban data sources, OpenStreetMap. We will learn how to get data from OSM, how to analyze that, and even how to turn it into district-level, citywide insights. So if you are ready for this journey, then let's move on to the next video and see how this course is built. So welcome to my brand new remastered Urban Analytics course, where we are going to use Python and OpenStreetMap to learn the basics of urban analytics. So just a brief overview on what you should expect here. You are going to have a series of video lectures, business as usual, and for all of them you are going to have two versions of Jupyter notebooks. One of them is going to have comments and texts and a little bit more explanation, so you can use them even as sort of standalone learning materials. However, the recorded versions are based on these exact notebooks, except that they don't have the same comments, and they might have a few additional examples and a few more modifications because, as you will see, I'm going to build up every single lecture line by line, which means that you will be able to compare this to the recorded notebooks. And based on how the underlying libraries are evolving, I'm going to be rolling out occasional updates, which might be just a few updated notebooks or maybe a few new videos. Time will tell. So in this course, the first chapter is going to be about getting started and setting everything up, so to make sure that we are ready to do all the analytical steps later on. In chapter 2, we are going to learn about how to acquire data from OpenStreetMap using Python, which we will further extend and elaborate on by adding various analytical layers on buildings and road networks in Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. Then, we are combining these together and putting together a detailed urban profiler section in Chapter 5, which we will finally use to conduct citywide analytics in Chapter 6. This will also include the development of a simple livability index, but before diving into the details of Vienna, let's see what geospatial data actually is. So the fact that you are already here makes it quite likely that you are not a stranger to geospatial data, yet it's probably better to make sure that we are all on the same page here. So briefly, we call spatial or geospatial data any kind of information which can be linked to a specific location on Earth. These locations can be described by a pair or a set of pairs of coordinates, while the information can be numbers, time series, even texts or images. With such data structures, we can store the location of various amenities like cafes. We can also add their names, their opening hours. We can define the boundary lines of entire countries, road networks of cities, rivers, lakes, mountains, elevations, and essentially everything that we can see on a map. So this already implies that there are many different types of spatial or geospatial datasets, and we can also categorize them in many different ways. For example, based on their source, the type of information or domain they are covering, from environmental data to human geography, or the scale, whether it is a high-resolution local dataset or a global, its temporal dimension, or even the structure. It's important to note that the geospatial world, or the world of geospatial data, is split into two along the axis of having vector or raster data. So these are the two main data structures you will come across during your geospatial journey, where vector data represents discrete objects defined by a set of coordinates, while raster data is used to represent continuous data in grid formats. In practice, this means that vector data is indeed a set of vectors, pairs of coordinates, which can draw up points, lines, and polygons, and the mix of these like multi-lines or multi-polygons. While on the other hand, a raster grid is essentially like an image, where the grid has pixel values, and every single pixel can have, for example, numerical values like elevation, or even multiple values like the R, G, and B, red, green, and blue channels on satellite images. If you have a closer look on my learning materials, you will see plenty of stuff on raster data. However, this course is going to be about vector data only, acquired from OpenStreetMap. In a few videos, we will learn more about OSM, but for now let's have a few more words about why we are going to use geospatial data science in urban planning. The primary philosophical or scientific ground for that is that cities are inherently spatial problems. Everything in a city comes down to the question of where. Where is something happening? What are the things in the neighborhood? And all that. And the thing is that regular spreadsheet data would flatten the geography. That's why we definitely need spatial tools to account for the locational nature of urban settings. Also, many of the modern geospatial data sources covering cities are already coming in large geospatial data structures, for example, in vector datasets. However, this is not really a necessity, but rather an opportunity, because this unlocks an almost infinite number of possible applications and topics and projects and directions and problems we can solve with geospatial data science in urban settings. We can quantify accessibility and mobility, we can analyze retail catchment, we can do detailed site selection, urban climate risk assessment, quantify urban greenery, and many more. In this course, we will cover the basics, the core urban forms, so how a city is built up, how these components are stored and can be analyzed as data. However, in later courses, we are also going to dive into some of these specific topics in more details. And the final question is that why using Python? There are so many programming languages out there. So Python has been becoming the cornerstone and the most popular tool for data science, analytical projects, and exploratory work, which means that, for example, with the Open Geospatial stack, we can do the full pipeline. We can acquire the data, clean and pre-process the data. We can build intermediate maps and visualizations. We can do measurements, do modeling, and even create final maps and even dashboards, all in Python. This means that the whole analytical pipeline is in the same environment. It can be easily reproduced and transferred from one geography to another, as well as from one colleague to another, which is extremely flexible and very well suited for large-scale data as well as geospatial questions. And finally, to set the stage ready for the course, I wanted to share these two of my most popular ever LinkedIn posts, which are all about urban planning and geospatial data science. So if you want to join the crew already reading about it, just check out these slides and these posts. And for now, let's move on to the first actual chapter of the course. See you there.